Hello and welcome to Shoot the Hostage with me, Sarah, and my partner Dan. We're a movie podcast and we cover 8 films per season on a specific theme. Now, we swear, we chat major spoilers, and we occasionally cover triggering topics, so please do use listener discretion. If you like what we do and want to support us, consider hitting 5 stars on Spotify, or maybe subscribing or even reviewing on your platform of choice. We also have a Patreon with a free tier for lineups and updates, and 2 paid tiers with extra content and early ad-free uploads. Right, on with the show.
Right, off we go on a new season, Sarah, and this time we're covering Triangle as part of your season about shapes.
Nope.
Yes.
Nope.
Because next week we're doing the Square.
I do like The Square.
It's a great movie. Are you tempted now to pivot into a season of movies about shapes?
A little. I am a little tempted, but name some more.
The Circle.
Okay, yeah, that's 3. I think there's also a film just called Circle.
Is there?
Yeah.
There's Circle Jerk. The sequel to The Jerk with Steve Martin.
No.
This one's got, I was going to say Dusty Bottoms, but that's the character name. If you know, you know. What other movies with shapes in? The Secret Life of Rectangles.
Is that? That's not a thing.
Yeah.
You're just making shit up now.
It's a real film.
No.
Hexagons, the Hexagon, Life of a Hexagon story.
This
Remember that classic?
was fun while it lasted. Moving on, we're covering liminal spaces this season.
All right then. What's the theme? Liminal spaces, is it?
Yes.
Okay. So it's your turn to choose this season. Why have you chosen liminal space? Well, firstly, what is liminal spaces and why have you chosen it?
You expected me to have a definition prepared.
That would be ideal because don't forget in this podcast, Sarah, half of it is you educating me about what words are.
Okay. Well, liminal spaces basically is. Oh, I'm going to get it horribly wrong now. I should have prepared something, shouldn't I?
Do you want me to insert a dictionary definition?
Yes, please. No, liminal spaces are basically places that are a little bit dreamlike, don't necessarily follow the logic of the real world. They can be transitionary spaces, so somewhere you pass through to get from A to B, whether that be literal or metaphorical. So the rules are, fairly clear, but a little bit elastic.
Okay, so they're defined, but it is sort of open to interpretation.
Yes.
Now, I get videos on TikTok because of you, because you say words and videos pop up on my feed.
Have you been getting liminal space videos?
Yes.
Even I haven't. What the hell?
So I've just been getting tons of have you seen this swimming pool with a tunnel and a tunnel goes into another pool or something? And it seems like an endless kind of scenario, or views of ocean, which is relevant to this movie, where it just goes on. You can't see anything beyond the horizon of the ocean. So it applies to real spaces, right? So, you can go into a big warehouse or something. When I was working in construction, when I was a really young estimator, I sometimes would get given keys to offices, warehouses, sometimes schools, but you're mostly accompanied in schools due to the nature of where you are.
Due to that list that you're on.
No, I had to do a CSCS test. Not CSCS. What's the other one? CSCS is construction thing. There's another one where you do the test and then they do the test and they go, yeah, he's not a nonce. What's that test?
I think it's called Nonce or Not Nonce.
Yeah, Noel Edmonds. You got on a TV show. Noel Edmonds tells you if you're a nonce or not a nonce. Yeah. Sidetracked. Often I would go into really big empty spaces, is my point. I remember this one time I went to an office block and it was a big block, multiple floors, and my job was to measure it up. So I was just wandering around this big office block for, I think, an afternoon, so 3, 4, 5 hours, measuring it up, and it was just really weird. It was obviously a place that had been lived in. There were chairs, there weren't any computers, but there were phones and little, do you remember PDAs? It was when they were a thing. We're talking like circa 2005 or 6 here.
What does PDA stand for?
Personal data analysis.
That's made up.
No. But I remember that feeling quite eerie. And when you mentioned about liminal spaces, and we had a discussion about it, and I've been thinking about it a little bit more over these last couple of weeks, those old memories started to resurface, just where I was in a big place on my own for a few hours, and it was just a bit weird, especially if it had been clearly lived in at some point. But I suppose that's my literal experience with liminal spaces.
Yeah, that's something I didn't mention actually in my definition, is that they are generally either abandoned or sparsely populated, which adds to the whole kind of dream logic, ethereal feeling.
So why did you decide to go for liminal spaces as a theme?
Because I love a liminal space movie. I find them inherently creepy. And they're often associated with horror movies, which, as you know, is my favourite genre.
While you were programming the season, you were a little bit worried about that, weren't you? You were saying, all we've got is horrors, and we're like, well, it is a liminal space.
Yeah. I think I was able to mix it up a little bit, but it's still very heavy horror leaning.
Yeah. Well, why don't you judge for yourself and go and check out the season lineup on the Patreon free tier? So it's kind of an interesting vibe to you, this like weird dreamlike setup, and often it's in horror movies, which is your jam. So has it been on your list for a while?
No.
Liminal Spaces, fairly recent addition.
Yeah. I've talked about liminal spaces before on my old podcast, Radio Gore Press. I can't remember which films it was in reference to. I wish I could. But they've always fascinated me. And we have covered some stuff that could kind of loosely fall under the remit of liminal spaces. Like the first one that comes to mind is Come True.
100%. Well, in Dream Season.
Big liminal space vibes.
Yeah. Yeah, Dreamscape.
Yeah.
Where in that film there is a dreamscape.
Yep. And a David Patrick Kelly.
And a David, how could you forget? He's the highlight of that movie.
He sure is.
What about another episode that was in Dream Season, A Nightmare on Elm Street 3? I'm doing it on my own now, aren't I?
That ship has sailed. See what I did there?
Yeah, very good. We'll get to the boating puns soon enough. But we're there already, apparently. I thought the hospital in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 was quite liminally.
Yeah, that would count.
It's liminal flavour, isn't it?
Yeah.
Big, weird, empty, creepy place.
Dash of liminality.
Yeah, dash of liminality, yeah.
Is it a concept you knew much about prior to our discussions about this season?
No, not really.
And with that in mind, are you excited to explore it?
Yes, I am. It will be interesting to see the different, I guess, the films that you've chosen and why you chose them. But it's less, because I guess because with the seasons we just sort of choose what we want, and sometimes that's the thing, like a video games where there's not much to dig into with the films necessarily, but the production of it and the what it was based on and that sort of thing. Identity, you're sort of digging into a lot of the themes, and you got that. Liminal spaces, it's going to be more about vibes and settings, isn't it, that we're going to concentrate on.
Heavy on the vibes, yeah.
Heavy on the vibes, yeah. And that's something that I would describe Triangle as, really, is very, very heavy on vibes.
But also just an excellent movie.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Would you consider it underrated?
I think so, yes. In the sense that it's a bit of a cult movie, isn't it?
It seems to be, yeah.
I found it a little bit by accident, really, because I'm quite interested in the Bermuda Triangle. So I reckon a couple of years, 3 years maybe after this came out, I was Googling Bermuda Triangle movies, happened upon this, watched it, loved it. Didn't really hear many people talking about it. I did cover it on my old podcast. So it's a film that I've thought about and seen quite a few times, actually.
Yeah, I think I saw it fairly soon after it came out. I believe it screened at Fright Fest, but it was a year that I didn't go. And so I probably saw it the following year, and it just blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. And for a while, it was one of those films that I introduced everybody else to.
Yeah.
I forced everyone else in my life to watch this movie. And it generally went over really well. I don't think I know anybody who dislikes this film. I just wish it was more widely seen.
So it was shot in Queensland. Brisbane and Gold Coast on sets and on location. It's obvious, I don't think we mentioned it yet, but obviously it's a reboot of the Sisyphus story.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's sort of its own Greek tragedy in a way.
Right, okay. But obviously Sisyphus is the Greek mythology bloke that pushed a rock up a hill for a bit. Quite a long time.
Yes, and he's name-checked in the film as well, so...
So's his dad. So's Daddy.
Yes.
Aeolus.
Aeolus. Well, the character in the movie corrects him and said Aeolus, but everybody else that I've heard mention it says Aeolus. So I think that guy might have been incorrect.
I think Liam Hemsworth said Aeolus, so I'm going to go with what Liam Hemsworth says. Unless he said terrible things.
The lesser Hemsworth.
Steady on. He was in Independence Day too.
Hemsworth less.
I reckon the bloke that pronounces it Aeolus on a boat, I think he gets it wrong.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're meant to think, isn't it?
Well, I think he does get it wrong, yeah. But he's very confident about it.
But I think that's the character. I think that's the character of that character.
Arsehole.
His character, yeah.
His character sheet was just a-hole.
Yeah. Yeah, he was called Downey, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very low budget, 12 million.
Okay.
2.8 million, we're talking dollars, 2.8 million of which was funded by the National Lottery.
I saw that at the start,
yeah.
Very
own National Lottery. They gave him the big finger. It could be you. I'd never get that up. I don't want it to be me. So, I mean, 12 million, it's a low budget.
It's so weird. In the horror space, I've been so used to talking about horror films and nothing but for so many years. So this podcast is still a bit of an eye-opener to me sometimes, because when you describe 12 million as low budget, I'm just like, no, not in the horror space.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Like it's, I would say on the face of it for a horror movie, you might think this is quite expensive.
Yeah, and technically isn't this an independent film?
Yes.
So that's a very high budget to me for an independent movie.
But what you think they have to do for that money as well, like you're shooting a movie that's based on water, like for a start. You've got to build sets, you've got to obviously employ your actors, which probably wasn't the most expensive thing on this movie. No shade to any actors. But I think it's, when you break it down and figure out what they had to do for that money, I think it's quite impressive.
Yeah, particularly the sets.
Yes. And it didn't do very well. It grossed, the number I found on Google was $1.3 million. So it lost a shitload of money.
It didn't have much of a release, if I remember rightly.
I mean, I didn't hear about it, like I say, at all until I went looking for a Bermuda Triangle movie.
I didn't get the opportunity to see it at the cinema because it just wasn't anywhere.
Yeah. So the marketing passed me by, but it did strike me that this is probably quite a difficult film to market in a way. You have to force it down the horror fans' throats, don't you? You have to market it to them. But it's also like a weird psychological, mind-bendy.
Well, it's also a sci-fi.
Yeah, like a sci-fi, isn't it? It's got a bit of everything, really.
And it's pretty dense. I consider myself reasonably intelligent, and there were moments during my research when I was like, wait, do I understand it?
I know.
I think I understand it.
I had exactly the same reaction when I was watching the director's commentary with Christopher Smith, and he was explaining some of the mechanics and the reasons that he did certain things. And I was thinking, yeah, I know this film. I know exactly what's happening. But then when he was going into it and explaining why he did certain things and how that made everything else work and fit it in, I was just like starting to get a bit lost. But to the point where I was like, I just don't care. I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole. Maybe we'll talk about what's real, what's not, or maybe we'll touch about that sort of thing. But the actual logic and mechanics of it, I'm not going to get too bogged down in that.
Yeah, I definitely oscillate wildly between, yeah, no, I understand this film.
Yeah.
And then just the next second scratching my head going, no, I don't. I don't have a good grasp on this at all. I've misunderstood massively. So I'm unsure where I land. Maybe somewhere in the middle at the moment, currently.
I think I understand enough, and that's where I'm going to leave it.
I know I like it.
Yeah.
And that is enough for me. It doesn't make me feel completely stupid.
No. What about director Christopher Smith? What do you know about him?
I know he's English.
He's an English guy.
Ooh,
Yes.
yeah, he is. I know he's directed some other stuff that I've
He
seen.
has directed some other stuff. First feature was Creep.
Yes.
Not that one. Not the Mark Duplass.
Not Tubby Time.
Not Tubby Time. Not get on the wolf mask, Tubby. Get in the bath time.
Nothing to do with Peach Fuzz.
No.
No, the the one with Franco Potente in the London Underground.
The one with the bloke from Holby City in it.
Sure.
It's the Doctor, Jeremy or something.
I'm going to have to take your word for that.
Sometimes he has an earring and he's cool.
Because men who have earrings are cool?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, no. Sometimes it depends on who's wearing it.
So it's not the earring that makes the man?
In this case, it was.
Okay.
But he was in that movie about a giant rat on the underground.
Spoilers.
Sorry. Spoilers for that movie. That's 25 years old.
I remember quietly enjoying that. It didn't blow me away or anything, but I remember thinking it was all right when it came out.
Yeah, I liked it. It was a weird one. It passed me by. And I think I saw it late night on a Friday, something, don't know what this is, just can't be bothered to turn the telly over. And it grabbed me. I think just because of anything that's kind of set in the underground as well, you don't see that very often.
Well, that's it. I think that's why it kind of made for a reasonably effective horror film, because it was an immediately familiar setup. And it did kind of, I'm not going to call it relatable, because I've certainly never gone through that, but it definitely did have that kind of, oh, what would I do if I was in that scenario kind of a thing. And yeah, it was enjoyable.
Yeah, and it did enough, I think, with the tension, if I remember rightly, in the first half. And just, as you say, the familiar setting and the payoff at the end, I just wasn't expecting at all. So it was a nice surprise. And I really enjoyed his next movie, Severance, as well.
Me too.
I think I only saw it once at the time, maybe another time, but I remember having a really good time with it.
I haven't seen it in at least 10 years, but I definitely enjoyed it when it came out.
Is it your favourite Danny Dyer movie? Or is your favourite Danny Dyer movie Doghouse?
It's definitely not Doghouse.
Have you rewatched that recently?
I didn't like it when it came out. I thought it was horrible and misogynistic when it was released.
I didn't know that at the time when I first saw it. So I bought it on Blu-ray about 5 years ago and watched it. It was like, oh yeah, this doesn't hold up at all, does it?
No.
But now you tell me that it never did.
Well, did you know what? I'm thinking, and I'm like, well, no, because a bunch of my friends really enjoyed it when it came out. And I'm like, but they were all men.
Yeah. Men weren't thinking about that sort of thing at that time.
No, you're right.
It just wasn't part of the conversation.
No, I'm glad it is now.
Yeah, me too.
But Severance probably is my favourite Danny Dyer film, to answer that question.
Do you know what mine is?
Go on.
The Business.
Is it really?
Yeah. I do like The Business.
I've only seen that once.
Mostly because of the soundtrack, I think. The soundtrack is maybe, in terms of song choice, maybe my favourite ever soundtrack.
Wow.
It's like some classic 80s songs in there that I discovered through that movie. So it's a very, it's close to my heart. Maybe we'll cover it one day. But I stress, it's not a great movie.
Okay.
Or perhaps even good.
Interesting.
But yeah, some point we'll talk about The Business, I guess. And Triangle was Christopher Smith's third movie.
Yeah.
And out of his filmography, I would say this is quite easily my favourite, I would say.
Oh,
although
same.
I really enjoyed his first three. But but yeah, this one takes the top point of the triangle. And then the left you've got Creep, and on the right you've got Severance, I think.
Okay.
Because the triangle has 3 points.
Does it? Thanks for that.
Sarah, name 3 types of triangle.
Oh my God.
What's your favourite type of triangle?
Isosceles.
Isosceles. Ding, one.
You
weren't expecting a quiz, were you?
No. The Instrument.
Oh, damn, there's 4. Forgot about that.
You said name 3. I've named 2.
I'll let you have it.
Oh no. I have to know a third triangle.
You have to. Everyone knows Isosceles.
The Quality Street one. the green triangle.
The little green chocolate.
Yeah.
Fine.
There you go. I've named 3.
There you go. All right. Well done. You got 3 out of 3.
Name me some others.
Equilateral.
Okay.
and scalene, of course.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I knew that off the top of my head. I didn't research it and write it down. I didn't think of that question as a random question and write it down. I didn't think, I don't actually know the answer to this. I better find out. I just knew.
I'm glad you've cleared that up. What else has Christopher Smith done then? He's made films since, hasn't he?
I really am only familiar with a couple of them. I've definitely seen Black Death, but don't really remember much about it.
Yeah, I feel like that maybe that came out the same year as Neil Marshall's Centurion, and I used to get the two muddled up.
Yeah, that sounds about right, actually. One of them's got Clive Owen in it with a big shield.
Yeah, I used to get confused about which one was which.
Yeah. Clive Owen's big weapon. He's got a big weapon. He's going to point it at you.
Why are you saying it all sexy?
I don't know. Detour, which you introduced me to, which was all right, I think, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I enjoyed Detour, but it was like, it's not a, oh, I must buy that. It was just like, yeah, that was enjoyable.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of mind bendy, it doesn't begin to touch on Triangle.
No. Consecration, which I've never heard of.
No, me either.
But it's quite recent, I think. The Banishing, which I've never heard of.
Okay.
Get Santa.
Oh no.
Which I've never heard of.
Okay. So do you think the quality's gone down as his career's gone on? Do you think
there's
he's
a couple I haven't seen all of them, so I can't really. I would say for the first three though are really good. So to maintain that consistency is probably very, very difficult.
Do you think Triangle is his magnum opus?
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely my favourite. So, Sarah, this is a time loop movie, and we've had a lot at this point. The first one I can remember watching was Groundhog Day. I'm sure there must have been one before. In fact, I'm pretty sure there is one before that, at least. But there's loads of them now, and it's it can get a bit tired, I guess. Like, you get your Happy Death Days, and by that point, I'm kind of done with it. But they did do something slightly different, I guess.
Palm Springs.
Palm Springs was great.
I think this was the same year as Time Crimes, which this film does get compared to a fair bit.
Maybe Time Crimes was 2007 or 2008.
Okay.
I think it was slightly before this, but I can definitely see that comparison. I mean, it's a time loop movie.
Yeah.
And someone is wearing a bag on their head, which you shouldn't do, kids. Don't do that.
It's not safe.
It's a myth. You'll be fine. Comedy podcast.
I would say that this one has a lot more going for it than the average time loop movie.
Yeah.
I think most of them kind of use the time loop as the anchoring.
Oh, it's another boat
motif.
pun.
I know. I'm just full of them today.
You're on fire.
But I think this one, it doesn't sort of rest on its laurels when it comes to the time loop stuff. That's just a part of this story. And there's a lot more to it, I think.
Yeah. Unlike Boss Level.
Unlike
Boss
Level.
Which is Frank Grillo wearing a leather jacket and shooting Mel Gibson, which is the best thing about that movie, I think.
It's the only thing you should do to Mel Gibson. Comedy podcast. I didn't like Boss Level very much.
No, I didn't. I was really excited for it as well, and I didn't.
Was it what's his name?
Yes, Carnahan.
Carnahan. That's the one. Yeah. Yeah, I've mostly enjoyed Joe Carnahan's movies. They're throwaway but fun.
Yeah, they're hit or miss for me, but even when they're missed, they're like, but it was fun. Like, yeah. I've got a soft spot for The A-Team, which I'm told is a terrible movie, but
I don't really remember much.
Be damned if I don't really enjoy watching it.
I even liked Stretch. And nobody's seen that.
Cop Shop's
great.
All-time best ever Toby Huss performance.
Which is saying great. Something.
Yeah. I think that's definitely my favourite Joe Carnahan movie off the top of my dome. But we're not here to talk about Joe Carnahan.
We're not, no. Let's delve into Triangle then.
Yeah, okay.
So you said that you arrived at this film because you were Googling Bermuda Triangle movies. But it's not really a Bermuda Triangle movie.
It's not really. It's like with everything else in this film. It tells you that it might be this thing, but also it could be something else. And what I like about the fact that, well, it's called Triangle. The yacht that they first get on in the movie is called Triangle. It's set in Miami, which is close to the area of the Bermuda Triangle. And that's it. That's all you get. And the fact that it's a weird kind of sci-fi, heightened Twilight Zone type concept with the magic goat ship and the time loop element, then you sort of, your brain's going, oh, they're in a Bermuda Triangle. And that is one way to explain it. Maybe we'll dip back into this when we talk about what we think is going on in a film. But yeah, you're right. It's not really about the Bermuda Triangle, is it?
No, I would consider that a bit of a misdirect, to be honest.
Yeah.
Bit of a red herring. Another ocean pun for you.
Nice.
Are herrings in the ocean? I don't even know.
Sarah, herring is a fish.
It is a fish, yeah. Let's not dissect the joke, okay? That's how you make them funnier, isn't
What's
it?
important
Pick them apart.
to know is that fish live in water.
Yeah.
What type of water a herring lives in, I think is probably is unknown to the layman.
Right.
Perhaps where herrings reside is common knowledge amongst podcast listeners. Who knows?
Maybe Richard Herring talks about it on his podcast.
He does.
Does he?
Yeah.
Nailed it.
The opening of every single episode.
He discusses herring facts.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll tune in.
You should.
Maybe I should tune in.
It's a good podcast, to be fair.
I don't really know where to start with this one because I don't want to do the thing where we run through the plot, but we are going to have to talk specifics. I do want to dive into the logistics, I guess.
Okay. Where would you like to start?
I don't know.
You just
this
said
is
you
the
don't
problem
know.
I'm having.
All right. Well, listen, I want to start with characters. I want to start with Melissa George because you're introduced to Melissa George. Jess. It's our second Melissa George movie. We covered one before.
Oh, she was in Dark City.
Another liminal space movie?
Yeah. Do you know what? Yeah.
Yeah. But what I really like about the opening 5-10 minutes is you get a sense of her character very quickly. And I think that's a mixture of things. I think it's the costume choices, what you see her doing, obviously. And Melissa George's performance. And I feel like you understand very quickly that this is a young single mother. Dad's not in the picture. She probably is quite a spontaneous sort of person who has a kid who's autistic, right? The kid's meant to be autistic.
Yeah.
So I think that they say that kid likes routine and everything to be kind of the same day in, day out. And you get the sense that she's frustrated at that, which makes me think she's more of a spontaneous kind of person and probably resents her kid to some degree. And I get all of that quite quickly. So I appreciate that. I think it did quite a lot in a short space of time to introduce me to her. Yeah, and then also like to justify some of the decisions she makes later as well.
The setup's pretty economical.
I think so. Yeah.
We get straight into it, really. I mean, she's only at the house, 5 minutes before she's at the docks?
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the right way to do it, I think.
Yeah.
But you're right, we do get just enough. I think I would say that Melissa George's performance is really good in this movie, but I do think the stuff that you were talking about is more to do with script and direction than herself. I think there's,
I think I agree with you. I think there's lots of decisions that were made in this, like, production design, story, all of that stuff, which feeds into it. And I think the performance just complements all of those things nicely. She also chose her own costume as well. So like she did help develop that character in that sense.
I think a lot was asked of her as well, because it seems like a reasonably physically punishing shoot on her part. And also she's in almost like every shot.
Yeah.
And she's expected to play different versions of her as well. It's not as cut and dry of just being like, this is your character. These are your personality traits. She's kind of playing two different versions of Jess, I would say.
She is, yeah. So there's like, it's a demanding thing to put on an actor. Like I suppose, like even if you're doing one character in a film, you're not shooting in sequence. I always think about that. How do you maintain an emotional continuity when you're not shooting in sequence?
Yeah,
that blows my mind that you can do that. I guess there's a lot in, Fincher will do 125 takes. So in those 125 takes is probably something that fits with the whole thing, maybe. So it's maybe an element of getting lots of different takes to choose from and then making it all make sense in the edit suite. But I always do find that quite interesting. And when you add into the fact that Melissa George is also playing different versions of herself at different points, like I don't know, I think that would drive me mad.
Yeah, she did a really good job with that, like juggling the different facets of Jess. Definitely. How many Jesses exist at one time?
I think it's 4, isn't it?
I think so.
Good. I'm glad we cleared that up.
There's like 2 variations of the cycle, right? But 2 of those are running concurrently.
We said we weren't going to get into this.
No, we have to.
I don't know. There's some time loop in it.
You can't leave until we both fully understand this. Get comfortable, Dan.
Right.
But I think like 4 different cycles running concurrently, but 2 of them are variations on the same one?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Are you just going to say yes to everything I say?
Yep.
Okay.
Agreed.
Dan's going to be agreeable today. I like this.
Sometimes. Don't put that in writing.
Okay. So who else have we got in terms of characters?
You've got the bloke from The Invisible Man.
Yes, Michael Dorman.
Michael Dorman, that's it. And he was also in, while we were watching it the other day, I'm going, I know that guy. And you went, oh, it's the guy from The Invisible Man. And I was like, yes, that's it. But my brain was still going, oh, I know his face is more familiar to me than that, though. And he was in For All Mankind.
Oh, right, okay.
As Gordo.
I haven't seen that, so I'll have to take your word for it.
No.
But he's been in a ton of stuff I've seen, because I'm a big fan of Australian cinema.
You love the Pirates of the Caribbean movies as well, don't you?
Was he in one of them?
He was one of them, I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
He's in Daybreakers, that terrible vampire movie.
Yes.
I remember that much. Also some not great Australian films. He's in one called, I want to say Suburban Mayhem, that I watched when it came out. But yeah, he's been a jobbing actor for decades. And what did you think of his performance in the movie?
I really liked it. I thought he brought quite a lot of humanity to his role, actually, which is weird to say because he wasn't in it that much, but I just got the sense that he was a nice guy, I think. Did you get a different sense, did you?
A little bit,
Did you think he was a bit of a shitbag?
So it's funny when you said you got the impression he was a bit of a nice guy, because I got the impression he was a bit of, in inverted quotes, a nice guy. One of those.
When he's pretending to be a nice guy.
I think, look, it's obvious that he is romantically interested in Jess.
Right.
That much is obvious, I think.
Yeah.
And when things are going well, when he can be the nice guy, when he can be the protector, he's lovely to her. Just giving her a day out. Lovely day on a boat. And then when things start to go tits up a little bit later, he gets quite shitty with her. He gets quite short and says something quite rude about her son.
Yep.
And I did wonder, like, oh, are these your true colours? Like, obviously, you know, you can't necessarily judge people when they're in an extreme situation. But I did sort of get the impression, like, maybe he's not as nice as he seemed initially.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good observation.
Which, to be honest, I prefer, because I don't want my characters to be one-dimensional, you know?
Yeah. Especially if they're getting shot in the chest.
Yeah.
Make him a baddie. No, fair. I'd forgotten about that scene, actually. Yeah, that's a fair point.
And, I mean, nobody else really gets a huge amount of screen time. This is very much the Melissa George show. So it's almost a little bit pointless delving into the other actors. I mean, they do well enough. Here's a question for you.
What's my favourite type of triangle?
No. Forget triangles for a second.
Oh, what's my favourite breed of dog? Is it that?
Go on.
Labrador.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you.
Of course.
What's mine?
Dog. I don't know. What is it?
You'll never know.
Okay.
It's a whippet. Or an Italian greyhound, or a French greyhound, or a regular greyhound.
That's why I just said dog.
I like long, thin, fast dogs, apparently.
Yeah. I only like one type of dog.
Do you?
I hate all other dogs, just like Labradors.
Apparently I like neurotic ones.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, if dogs are like their owners, that would be fitting. Anyway, stop trying to sidetrack me because this film is complicated. Back to the question I was going to ask you though. What happened to Heather and was it important?
Remind me who Heather was.
Exactly. So she was the one that the redhead, whose name I've forgotten, wanted to set up with Michael Dorman.
Right.
And then she was the one who disappeared off the yacht when the storm happened.
Mm.
And then we never see her again.
She went under the wheels.
Sure, yeah. But do you think her character played any significant part? Do you think... Because I feel like this film is so meticulous and so intricate that I've been all afternoon racking my brains as to what that could mean, what significance, what relevance her character had. And I can't come up with anything.
Really? You've been racking your brains about that?
Yes,
I
that
haven't
specific
thought
thing.
one moment about that character.
Poor Heather.
I'm sorry, but she went over the side and you don't see her again.
Mm.
Well, you sort of do, but it's a different version of her.
At least she got to have some champagne.
True.
If I was going to go overboard and get swept away to sea, I'd want to be drunk.
You have to be drunk.
Yeah.
You have to be drunk at sea. That's a rule.
Is it?
Mm.
Oh, I didn't know that. So they board the boat, which it will surprise nobody to learn takes vast inspiration from the Overlook Hotel from The Shining.
Mm. But they board it because their yacht went over. They capsized because of a storm.
Yes.
Which appears out of nowhere.
Yes.
There's no wind. Then all of a
Calm
sudden there's
before the
all of the
storm.
wind and a storm.
And then a big ocean liner pulls up.
And a big CGI boat pulls in.
That happens to be named after the god of wind.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And you see that boat and you see it's called Aeolus. And it looks really
Aeolus?
old. No. And I suppose you have to get on it because at that point you're standing on an upside down boat.
Well, yeah, you stand on a capsized yacht forever.
Yeah.
Or you get on the big boat and assume other people are going to be on it. I would get on the boat, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would. But then I would just hide, I think, when I got on it.
Like, she's in the time loop anyway. So I wonder if there's a version where she just stays on the upturned yacht.
Yeah, maybe.
That we didn't get to see.
But yeah, they get on it, and then that's when the loop starts, isn't it? Because the boat is approaching or that's when we think, because you get that reset point, and then that's when things start to get weird because you get 10 minutes of them walking around the boat trying to figure out why it's empty. Did Nazis build this boat? Like, there's food there. Why is the food there? Why hasn't it gone off? Like, where is it? Who's driving this fucking thing? And then the weird shit starts to happen after that.
Yeah, I did have a bit of a question because obviously we start when the cycle's already kind of beginning at the start of the movie. But well, it's a circle. It doesn't have a beginning and an end.
You're trying to figure it out again.
I am. I need to get to the bottom of this. Like at the end of the
Hull.
movie.
You need to get to the hull of it.
How dare you? That's my job. That's my one job on this podcast is puns. Yeah, when she experiences the car crash at the end of the movie and she's taken back to the docks, she's in a bit of a daze, but she's aware of everything that's happened.
Is
and
she?
Then, yeah. Because she knows she has to get on the yacht to try again because that's what she's trying to do, is trying to get back to her son. That's what the whole process is about. And she gets on the yacht and everybody senses that things are a little bit off, that she's not acting normally. And then she goes for a nap. Is like, I sort of assumed that at that point, that's when her mind resets. Or like her brain is wiped almost. Her memory's wiped, not her brain.
That's definitely intentional. Smith mentioned that in the commentary.
Okay, what did he say?
The reason that scene is in this film is for that very reason. So that you can go, oh, maybe this is a reset point. Not necessarily that is the reset point.
Right.
But it could be. And the fact that she's been sleeping and then the memory and all of that stuff. So it's just another thing in there to muddy up the waters, like you say.
Right. Okay. Well, that was my assumption, yeah, because when they board the ship, she remembers nothing apart from a few comments about her thinking that she's having deja vu, that she recognizes things. She's sure she's seen this before, but she doesn't remember. So I did find that quite interesting.
Mm.
I don't think that necessarily occurred to me until this watch.
Mm. Well, I would say for me, all of my favourite scenes probably happen on the ship. I do love the way that this movie ends, and I suppose it doesn't really make any sense until it ends anyway. And it definitely blew me away the first time I watched it, and we'll get to that. But I think some of the most memorable stuff is on the ship itself. I love the fact that when they go to the theatre.
On the Overlook Botel.
The Botel, yeah. I love the shotgun theatre. That's when Jess learns that it's her killing the others, so things really... Or that's when... Was it Greg that tells the others that Jess had shot him? They pass that on to Jess, so she doesn't know
that the first
for
time.
certain, but that's when she's told. She's like, well,
Yeah.
I couldn't possibly, I don't remember doing that. But it does, that scene does lead her, and again, she doesn't know that it's herself, but it directly after that is when she fights that version of herself, I think, isn't it?
Not long after, yeah.
Not long after that, yeah. And then that version that's wearing the sack falls overboard. So I really liked those two scenes as well, how they sort of lead into each other, and I'd say that's where things get they step up a mark. Like you're like, oh, there's another version of her, and what's going on here?
We can just about make out the voice, and it does sound just like her. You can't necessarily make out the words that they're saying as she goes overboard at that point.
But it's quite faint as well.
Yeah.
And I think that was on purpose because when we see that scene again later for the second time, you can hear what she's saying, that character, and they had to shoot it. Although it's the same scene, they did shoot it two different ways, slightly differently. The original plan was to use the same scene in both parts of the movie, but because you're doing it from a different version of Jess's point of view, they had to shoot it slightly differently, with one on emphasis on the sack version and one on emphasis with the version of Jess that just had a face.
They both had faces. I'm pretty sure.
No, I couldn't see the other one, so I don't know if it really existed.
Okay. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that because I think I caught the fact that they'd done that a couple times. There was another notable one right at the end of the film where she approaches Greg on the dock, and he's sort of says to Liam Hemsworth, like, is she okay? And he goes, don't think so. What, I'm paraphrasing. And I initially thought that it was reused footage, but it's not. There's a YouTube video. I can't remember the user. I will try and find it and put it in the pod text. But they did a side-by-side comparison, and it was different takes of the same scene, which I thought was such a nice touch, because there would be slight variations in the cycles in the timeline.
Because she can do things differently. She doesn't have to be the same thing every time. So they're naturally going to be different each time, slightly different. There will be similarities, but yeah, again, like just a nice thing that was thought about. Apparently, Chris Smith just absolutely tore his hair out trying to get this thing watertight.
Yeah, I bet.
And drove everybody else
Stop making
mad.
water puns.
And apparently just drove everybody insane with trying to figure out the logic and the pieces and how this all fit together.
I'm picturing him like the Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny theme.
Yeah.
The pictures on the board with the red string between them.
Oh yeah,
going insane, chain smoking.
He's got a white short sleeve shirt that's too small for him, and a tie that's like halfway up his stomach. Yeah.
Who is Pepe Silvia?
Do you know, I kept thinking about this film in relation to last season. I think I'm still a little bit in identity sort of mindset.
We haven't really had a rest this time. We're going straight into this season, so.
But part of that is because obviously we're following Jess, and every movie is about identity. But like her decisions, the decisions she makes, who she is, she's a mother, she's like a woman. Where do those things intersect? And also the use of mirrors I thought was quite interesting in this film. And I didn't notice just how much there was until watching it for this film. And I think mirrors are always interesting in films, or not always, but I think they can be quite telling on themes and reflect, if you like, what the character is going through. And I think this did a very good job of that.
Sorry, I'm just shaking my head at you because the puns just keep coming.
Some of them
quick and fast.
Some of them
quick
are on
and
purpose.
fast.
But yeah, there's lots of really good uses of mirror. After the scene where she fights herself for the first time, Jess goes into a cabin and there's a mirror.
Oh, I love this
And
scene.
I didn't notice it. I swear I've never noticed it before.
What, when the camera goes through the
Yeah,
mirror? I love
until
that.
I watched it with the commentary, and like because when I'm watching a
Really?
film and I'm just watching it, especially if we're not recording a podcast, like I just want to watch it and I don't really want to think about it. I just want to let it wash over me. When we record it, when we're watching it for the podcast, then I'm thinking about it a bit more. But then also I'm still also trying to just enjoy it on an emotional level and think about what I'm going to say about it after.
But I
But
guess
I did.
that's you not noticing even on this other viewing, I guess, is testament to how seamless that shot is as well.
It's really good as well. Like watching it for the director's commentary, you see that in the first shot it's an actual mirror with Melissa George's reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Then it cuts to a face-on shot of Melissa George, and then you go to a shot from behind her, and it switches to a body double where the real Melissa George is now just in a room that's been made to look like it's in a mirror, and they CGI'd some like blemishes where the glass would have been, and then as you say, the camera just follows the body double into the mirror, and now you're following the mirrored version of Jess, which is fucking genius.
And like the whole setup of the scene, even the music, like the really old-timey gramophone and the record skipping, like it's so cool.
And then the images skip a little bit as well, and I remember that, like, that point in the movie, I really like the theatre because that's when it's getting a bit weird, but that point is the point where I'm like, holy shit, okay, anything can happen, and this is really my jam, I think.
Yeah.
But I didn't notice that it actually went into the mirror.
Right.
And that's that's interesting because it's such a good effect.
Yeah.
And like you say, probably the fact that I didn't notice it is a good thing. It's how seamless it is.
I feel like a decent chunk of the 12 million budget must have gone onto VFX, because actually for a film that's what, 17 years old now, 18, it is like a lot of it's pretty seamless, I think, even now.
I think some of the CGI is very dated.
Yeah, something like
I saw
the seagulls look a bit wonky.
The gulls were never there.
Yeah.
I think the ship looks a bit shonky. I think some of the compositing is a bit off. Like when they're on the boat and they're standing on the boat and they're waving, like, I don't know, man. But
some of it's great. And also, on the theme of like liminal spaces, liminality, I think you can kind of forgive some of that as well.
That's kind of where I'm landing with it, yeah, because I was
it sort of informs that whole dreamlike feel, doesn't it?
It does. Watching it with some of, like, with the ship, I think, and the seagulls are the early examples of where I'm noticing CGI, and I'm a bit like, yeah, that doesn't look great, but as you say, I'm forgiving it because is it real? Is it like what are we dealing with here? So it sort of helps it in a way. Yeah. It sort of adds to the vibe of it, which is interesting. So it's like in another film, I'd probably use that as a criticism, but I think in it, and I'm sure like if it was made today, they would have made it look more realistic or whatever. They would have tried to make it look as good as it can. But the fact that it does look a bit off, I think, is actually helpful for it. But I do really like the use of the actual set though. They built this ocean liner.
I love the interiors, the decor.
Yes, yeah.
Especially like I guess the ballroom or the dance floor. Loved it. Yeah,
they built the ocean liner on a seaway, which is it was like a long narrow piece of land, and they called it the Spit. I don't know if that's the colloquial term for that thing in Australia, I don't know, but they so the idea was that it goes out to the sea and you've got the sea visible on three sides, right? So they built the ship at the end of that, but it did get destroyed by some really aggressive waves at one point, so expensive to build and keep up and then strike as well, like it all costs money. So that was all set. There were some interiors of the engine room which they shot on location on an actual boat in an engine room, because they decided it was too much money to build an engine room. Why not just hire an entire boat and shoot on one instead? It's cheaper to hire a boat, apparently.
Yeah.
It's to just put a metal box in the kitchen. The fact that this was shot on water makes me question if that 12 million budget is even like a real thing. How could it not be more? Like, because they did actually shoot some like on the actual water with the yacht. They were close to the coast, but they had to do some of that. And they also hired a water tank for the storm, as well. Like all of that stuff, man, I don't know how you did this for 12 million. I think that's quite impressive. I suppose it is getting on for 20 years old now as well. So you've got that to bear in mind.
I guess I assumed there was even more CGI in this.
Yeah.
I didn't realise so much of it was actually there. That's kind of even more impressive.
And I really liked all of the stuff where you're seeing, or particularly where you're seeing multiple corpses of Sally. That was a really cool
We
shot.
have to talk about that because that kind of... I had like a full body response to that the first time I saw this movie. When she's like almost dying and she's crawling out and you just see this sea of bodies on the deck, and it's kind of fucking horrifying. Like putting yourself in her shoes going, oh no, I guess I am dying.
Imagine the last thing that you ever see is yourself dead.
Infinite versions of your own corpse.
Yeah, what a weird thing and scary thing to think as well. And also at that time, that character has just seen the evil version of Jess, you know, the version with the blood down the side of her face.
Her partner's just been killed in front of her.
Yeah, of course. She's saying, and then the other version of Jess is coming out going, oh, well, I didn't do this. What are you talking about? So Sally's like, what the fuck are you? How insane are you? So just a really effective scene and memorable. Like
really
can't think of another time I've seen that in a film.
No, I mean, like, truth be told, Sally could not die quick enough for me.
You hated Sally?
Well, after she called the autistic son the R slur, I was just like, okay.
She did say that, didn't she? I'd forgotten that.
Yeah. It's like, when do you get thrown overboard, Missy?
Yeah, she should have swapped places with Heather.
Yeah. Yeah. Heather seemed nice.
Yeah.
Sally was a bitch. So, fitting death, but horrifying. Yeah. And such a good visual.
Yeah.
Like, just... I don't know, the slow reveals in this movie are expertly done. Like things are just peeled back another layer. And that sort of thing happens again and again, like with the heart lockets down the grid.
Yeah.
The notes.
The notes, yeah.
The screwed up notes.
Just seeing loads of the boiler suits and
yeah.
all of that stuff. The seagulls at the end.
Yeah. It's a really well-utilised technique, I think.
Yeah. We touched on it earlier, but I thought we should return to the Greek myth element of this.
Sure, happy to.
It's not an area that I'm that familiar with. I mentioned Sisyphus earlier and Aeolus, and that's all I know.
And aioli.
Yeah, aioli. Is that a sauce?
Yeah.
That's a condiment, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I know that. I didn't know that was braid-based. Is that a Greek condiment?
I don't know. Well, they're from Homer's Odyssey, which is interesting in a year that we're getting Christopher Nolan's Odyssey.
Right. Okay. Yes.
I don't know who's playing Sisyphus or
who's playing Homer.
I don't know.
Getting Hank Azaria back.
Dan Castellaneta.
Oh, is that? Oh, sorry, I got the wrong one. Fuck my own joke. So, what do you know about the Greek stuff in this, Sarah? Because that was all of my notes about the Greeks. There's someone called Sisyphus. There's someone called Aeolus. What else do we need to know about Greece?
I'm not here to give you I'm not a Greek historian, so I don't know either. I was obsessed with Greek myths and legends when I was a kid, so I can tell you all about the Minotaur and stuff like that.
Well, I think the Sisyphus stuff is the biggest clue on what's going on here.
Yeah, I'd heard of Sisyphus. I'd heard about the guy that was effectively doomed to push a rock up a hill and have it fall back down again for the rest of eternity. Boring and hard work.
Had a few jobs like that.
Yeah, me too. W.H. Smith's was rough, man.
You just get to the end, you think, I've done it now, and then it fucking starts again.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
Spend all afternoon organising the magazines only for them to be fucked up by the end of the day again.
Yeah. You do a load of work, and then your computer reboots, crashes or something. You got to reboot, you lose a couple of hours of work, and you start again. That's what the Sisyphus is like.
Same thing.
Yeah.
But so I'd heard of that particular myth, but I didn't know all the details. I didn't know that Aeolus was Sisyphus' father.
And god of wind?
I didn't know that. Well, they do mention that in the film, but I didn't know that prior.
I didn't know that there was a god of flatulence.
Yeah.
at all.
Mm-hmm. And
So
he's
that was
called
interesting.
Rabsy Nesbit.
Rabsy Nesbit. What the fuck did you think of Rabsy
I
Nesbit?
don't know. That was a weird pull from my brain that still lives in the 90s.
He's doing a one-man show now, all about the
Because
days,
nobody else wants to work with him.
the glory days of being in Rabsy Nesbit.
Great.
He might be lovely. You don't know.
Is he going to be wearing that net vest?
Yeah, the suit jacket and the headband.
Horrific.
Because you're in a 90s sitcom, so you've got to have a weird look that nobody else has.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Chris Barry wasn't in it.
I don't think he was, no. God, that was a bad show.
Why do all roads lead back to Chris Barry?
I don't know. You think about Chris Barry too much, I think.
It's your fault.
I blame myself.
Every time we do this podcast, I'm looking at you, and immediately to your left are a ton of Red Dwarf DVDs.
I thought you was going to say, when we're doing this podcast, I'm looking at you, but I'm thinking of Chris Barry.
In every scenario, yeah. Every situation that involves the two of us, I'm picturing Chris Barry.
So should we talk about theories then? Like, what the fuck is going on in this movie?
I have some.
Well, let's talk about it then, because there's multiple readings and takes you can have on this film. And
Are there? Or is there one correct reading that we have to nail before
I think
we
that
start
there's
recording?
multiple takes and interpretations of this film, and
Okay.
I think any fit. Well, I
Okay.
think there's 3, maybe 4.
Well, I mean, we've already talked about the Bermuda Triangle as a possibility,
Yeah.
so...
Okay, so we've covered that. It could just be all real. They've slipped into some sort of time storm, and they're in a weird Twilight Zone situation.
Yeah.
And maybe they're stuck there forever. Obviously, you could say that it's all a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's that interpretation that none of it happens. That it's all a dream. You could argue that Jess has lost her mind. You could argue that there's a schizophrenia angle there. And what is the definition of madness but doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result? But the one I think is the correct one is purgatory. I think that's what we're doing here. But I think the other things could work.
I think the other readings are somewhat valid. I think if you have that interpretation, then you're not necessarily wrong. But I do think the intended interpretation is probably purgatory, right?
It's he designed it to be open to...
Really?
Yeah, like it's a completely circular movie where he thought very, very hard about the different ways people would interpret the movie, and he wanted it to be kind of bulletproof whichever way you look at it.
I hate that. I want to know that I'm right. I don't like it when directors do that. Tell me I'm right.
I love it. I think this is the 3rd movie in a row now where we've covered a film where not necessarily everything we see is happening, or in the way that it's presented to us anyway. We had American Psycho, Total Recall, and now this. And I love that. I love thinking about, was that real? Was that not real? Why do I think that's real? And why wouldn't it be? But I think I like the purgatory angle the most. I think it fits the most when I think about it. I feel like with the inclusion of the Sisyphus stuff, and then with the driver at the end, like we're getting to the 3rd act stuff now, I think it's telling you that's what's going on, but you could interpret it another way.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the purgatory thing is the natural conclusion that my brain draws anyway. Again, I'm not gonna tell anybody that their interpretation is wrong, but to me, the clearest one is purgatory.
Yeah, I think so. And it's a mystery, isn't it? It's not until you get to the end of the movie where you sort of get a few more answers, and then that makes this one of those movies where you do get rewarded for repeat viewings. I think I'm at the stage where now I've probably seen it enough. Like, I'll watch it again, but I thought about it, I think, as much as I want to think about it now. But I really like that ending though, and it definitely blew me away the first time I saw it, when she gets off the boat and then she washes up ashore and she sees a crab, and that was part of her dream earlier, wasn't it? So that ties in with the potential a reset point as well. And she runs to her house and finds her son, finds a version of herself that is being mean to her son.
I would say abusive
To her son, and kills her. And because you don't see that stuff at the start of the movie. You're not given that information yet. So, but you could argue that version of Jess didn't do that. Or I take it as she feels guilty for doing that, and that's a lot of her motivation for her actions in the film.
Well, in real life, there aren't two versions of herself.
But I'm saying that that's not necessarily real life, though, because I don't necessarily think that you see anything that's reality in
No,
this
we
film.
don't.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, in real life, there obviously aren't two versions of her, so that clearly didn't happen in real life. I think the car accident, I think her being abusive to her son is probably stuff that happened in real life.
Yeah.
And she's being forced to relive that because she's in purgatory.
Okay, so I'm saying that I'm not sure how far the abuse went, because the only reason I say that is because you get on the ship, you get the version of Jess with the blood running down her face,
Yeah.
who's meant to be the same version of Jess that she kills with the hammer.
Yeah. Who's quite cutthroat.
Yes, who feels like a different person.
Yeah.
So my idea is that like evil Jess? And then the other one that's just like misguided Jess? I don't know. Because you don't see anything that's actually happening in quote unquote reality in this film, I think you can really have whatever theory you want. But
Well,
I do agree with you, though, that I think that there was an original reality where she was not the best mum in the world, possibly abusive, and then she died in a car accident, and then that's when the purgatory stuff starts, and she's in this endless cycle. That's what I tend to think about it.
Well, yeah, because otherwise the car crash would be a plot hole. Because why aren't there tons of her and her son's bodies piled up by the side of the road if that was part of the loop? That to me is like the cut-off point. That's when she died, that's when her son died, and that's when she's forced into purgatory, which also makes sense with the cab driver, because in terms of it being like a Greek tragedy, he could represent like the boatman who's there to take them over the river Styx to Hades.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he was dressed in black, so my immediate thought was death.
Yeah, or like a Grim Reaper type.
Yeah, why aren't we getting William Sadler in this role?
Because it's not a comedy.
But yeah, and then, so the guy who's death, the boatman, offers to give her a ride and takes her to the harbour where she gets back on the boat and starts the whole thing again. But I'm guessing that the death character is every time hoping that she goes with him and doesn't decide to get back into the loop. That's my feeling on it, because he also says, "I'll wait for you. I'll keep the meter running," and she doesn't come back.
Yeah. And it was the wording as well, because earlier in the film when they're talking about Sisyphus and why he's in that situation, I think Sally says something, she can't really remember because it was from her studies, but she says something about how Sisyphus made a promise to death, but he broke the promise. And that sort of ties in with Jess's verbiage when she's, talking to the cab driver and he says, "You'll come back, won't you?" And she goes, "Yes, I promise."
Yes. Yeah.
So I think the use of the word promise there is a clue as well.
Yeah, which totally ties it back into all of that stuff as well. But I understand why she would make that decision, though. Like the regret that character must be feeling, and rightfully so as well. And it's a weird scenario because she's sort of the final girl, isn't she? She's sort of the villain and the final girl, which is a very unique situation.
Well, that's kind of what I was going to say when you were talking about the fact that there seem to be two Jesses. I don't think there are. I think there are just, her mind's sort of fractured in purgatory, and they're just different facets of Jess.
Yeah. I think if you're dealing with the idea that this is purgatory and that's a representation of the character, and there are multiple versions, this is getting complicated, there are multiple versions of that character, then it is both literally and metaphorically true.
Yeah. I've done a full day of work. Yeah. I'm too tired for this.
But it's not unlike how we would think, or me anyway, would think about parts of my personality. I think about, but maybe this makes me insane, I don't know, but parts of me I think of as sort of a different person, like a different version of me. I have different versions of me depending on whether I'm in a professional setting. I'm not going to be down in shots of whiskey and dancing on the table in an office, but I may do that somewhere else. Yeah. So I don't know, I like all of, and that's what made me sort of think about the identity thing as well, the different versions of her.
What made me stop and consider that point is when Jess Prime, our Jess, she's not the first, but when our Jess washes up on shore and goes back to the house and sees herself being mean to her son and then she kills her, and then she's hugging Tommy and saying, you know, that's not mummy, this is mummy, I'm mummy, that mean lady's not mummy. So I think maybe that was an intentional thing on Jess's part, like she separated the dark side of her away because she doesn't want to believe that she's capable of that.
Yeah. And that's
it's so well done.
It is well done, and that's literally a phrase that people will use when they regret something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
it wasn't me.
If someone cheats on their partner, oh, I was drunk, it wasn't me, or you know, it's an excuse.
I was in a different place.
I was in a different
place.
Yeah, I've done the work now.
Yeah.
I've had therapy. Yeah.
Take ownership of the shit thing.
Yeah.
And there's so much dialogue that's so carefully written as well. I think so much has been said about this film and not enough credit has been given to the dialogue, to the script, because it's so intricate and everything means something. Like the two lines that really stood out to me on this viewing were the cab driver when he's sort of looking at the bodies, her and her son's bodies on the road, and he's saying, like, you know, people are rushing to help them. And I'm paraphrasing, but he says something like, oh, it's such a shame. There isn't anything anybody can do to save that boy now. But she refuses to believe that.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I have to keep trying. And then there's a line that she says earlier on in the movie to Greg. And she's talking about her son's autism. And I think the exact line is, if I do one thing differently, I lose him. So the repetition is her redoing the same thing. And having to get it right so she gets to see her son again.
Yeah.
I love it.
And she's just doomed to just repeat that for eternity.
It's so good.
Because she doesn't remember each loop.
No.
My interpretation is that she sort of remembers some of it, but
she has that deja vu feeling.
The longer that she goes on, the more she gets removed from it. And that's why I said sort of like when she gets to the harbour at the end of the movie, or, you know, at the start, whatever you're into, whatever. When she's at the harbour, I don't necessarily think she remembers what happened. I think she's just doing a thing that feels familiar to her. She's just sort of going through the emotions. Like, where's my son? I guess he must be at school.
See, I don't see it that way at all.
Because
see
she
it
had
as
a little
woman.
nap. She had a little nap in the taxi, didn't she?
But she's having to relive the grief. So when they say, like, where's your son? She sort of stares off into the distance, looking blank because she's grieving. She's in shock. She's
or she doesn't remember.
Or she doesn't remember, yeah. Either are possible. I think mine is correct.
Okay.
But either are possible.
I don't necessarily think mine is correct. I think that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
But I have very strong feelings on, I think, what this film is, but also I'm quite flexible and I'm happy to be convinced otherwise. But we don't have 3 days to talk about it. So let's just agree that I'm correct.
I don't agree to that. Yeah, we like, before we wrap up, I just want to talk about the way that the movie's filmed as well, because I feel like we have to give props to the filming and the cinematography, because actually, besides a little bit of shonky CGI, it looks pretty great.
It looks great. Yeah, it looks great.
I love the camera work. I love the switch between like the traditional cameras and the more handheld stuff. Like, it gives it this sort of kinetic feel. And keeps things propelling. I don't know. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, there's some really nice use of lighting in certain scenes as well. It looks really nice. Like, with the CGI side, and I'm not, like I say, I'm not really digging this film out. It was pretty low budget 2 decades ago nearly. I'm sure the team didn't get nearly the amount of time that they wanted to or needed to make it look seamless. But, you know, that aside, I think it's pretty flawless the way this movie looks.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah. And there's some really interesting techniques utilised as well. We've already talked about the camera going through the mirror, which is probably the most notable. But another one that I love, because I'm so I don't know, hypersensitive when it comes to looking out for split diopter shots, because I love them. There was a shot in this where I think it's 2 versions of Jess. So it's obviously not a split diopter shot. I assume it must be a composite made to look like a split diopter shot. And that really stood out to me on this viewing as well.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, I just love it. I just love this film.
It's a good one. It was a good one to start the season on, for sure. It reminded me of Coherence as well. I thought about that.
Oh, yeah.
During this viewing. Obviously, we've got similar. I'm not going to spoil it, but a similar setup
vibes.
Yeah, it's different, but like there's a similar thing that happens in it.
Yeah.
I guess is what I'm getting.
Trying to be very cagey.
Yeah, you mentioned time crimes already, which is definitely something I wanted to mention, and it's someone that I hear all of the time, and you know, there's a lot in common, so it's completely understandable. What about Benson and Moorhead's The Endless?
I could see that.
Yeah, I think we've got a little bit of that in there. I think Christopher Smith was definitely inspired by things like Memento, where you've got the kind of the loopy element of that. A film from 1945 called Dead of Night.
Okay, yeah.
Are you familiar with that?
I think so.
It's a horror anthology film, which I'd never heard of until I heard Christopher Smith talking about it. 1962 film called La Jetée.
Don't know that one.
Okay. This sounds fascinating. I wrote down the description off of Google I got for this, and it says, a look at the past, present, future, and after effects of World War III, tracing the life of a man, a slave, who travels in time to find a solution to the world's destiny. And that sounds just about right up my street. So that's something I want to get to, I think, definitely.
Okay.
12 Monkeys was mentioned as a reference point by Gil.I.Am.
I guess I can see that, yeah.
And but the big one is, you mentioned it already, it's The Shining, isn't it? It's how many times is the number 237 used in this film exactly?
At least 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even her neighbour's called Jack.
Oh, well, yes. Yeah. Yeah. So, well done. Good movie to start with. What are we going to do for the episode number 2 of your Liminal Spaces?
So next week is a first time watch for both of us. It's a movie that only came to my attention about 18 months ago, maybe 2 years.
Oh, really?
Maximum.
Oh, I did not realise it was a recent one for you.
Yep. It's been sitting on the to watch pile. It's called Messiah of Evil. I'm very excited.
Yes. Me too, am I?
No.
No, I'm not.